Now that it's ready to use, we'll put these things out of the way. I make a little holding stick. I carve a little handle on one end. Not necessary, but that makes it a tool. On the other side, I put a little piece of leather, makes it easier to hold. It's just slightly rounded. And on this side, I put a piece of all this non-slip things that you put in the bathtub, or you can use almost anything. But I lay my piece of wood on there, and then I use these paper clamps. You get those at the office supply store. Put those on there to help hold the stick, and then by taking my knife, and you can use almost any kind of a knife that you want. This is a craft knife that I probably paid 85 cents for. It works just as well as anything that you could pay $30 for. The longer your knife blade is, the more likely you are to injure yourself or somebody else. You only need about a ½ inch of blade. And incidentally, you always want to keep your blade sharp. So I make a little sharpening stick. On one side is a piece of maybe 600 grit wet or dry sandpaper. Underneath that is a piece of foam, craft foam that you can get at a craft store. I glue that on the board first, and then I glue the wet or dry sandpaper on top. You could use double stick tape. If you use rubber cement, just put a coat of rubber cement on and put the wet or dry sandpaper on right on top of it and let it dry. Then you can change it without any problem. You could just grab a hold and peel it right off, put some more rubber cement on, put a new piece of wet or dry sandpaper. And something on the other side is a polishing agent. With the foam, you don't have to worry about the right angle. You lay your blade flat on there with just a little pressure and run back and forth in both directions, and your knife blade will be sharp and stay sharp. And if you keep doing that, you won't have any problem. Now, to make sure that we're doing this right, I go past the end of the stick, and with the blade right straight up and down, and my thumbs together, thumbnails touching, I raise the blade up and draw it in just a little bit, turn it to a 45-degree angle, and rock it back and forth a little bit. Now, keeping my thumbnails together. Oh, and this is important because then you don't move too far. Raise it up, straighten up, move a little bit, tilt it to a 45, and rock back and forth or slide a little bit, and your notch, your little piece of wood should come out. You should have a notch there. I can feel it, I can't see it. Then with the blade straight up and down in the bottom of that notch, I carefully raise it up till I get to the edge, to the corner. I can feel that, and then I tilt the blade again, repeat, making another notch. Carefully raise the blade out, straight up, over a little bit, tilt to the other way 45 degrees, back and forth, and we should have 2 notches. Sure enough, 1, 2. Now I can do the same thing again, with the blade straight up and down. If you tilt it a little bit to the left, that makes it a little bit easier. If you slide up, you get to the top, and peak, tilt the blade to the 45 degrees, rock it back and forth. With your thumbnails together, pull it out, because sometimes it sticks. And if you don't have your thumbnails together, then the blade moves someplace, and you don't know where it is in relation to your cut, and you don't want to lose track of that. So keep your thumbnails together, then you can move, and without moving your thumbnails, then you can back and forth again. That time I didn't come loose, so we got to carefully start over again, just as if we were making a new cut. Rock it back and forth. Maybe I didn't cut it deep enough the first time. And there we go. Now we can do another one, and that's the way it go all the way through. So eventually you wind up, with notches all the way along. And that's the whole secret. There's nothing very dramatic about it, very drastic. It's easy to do. It just takes a lot of practice till you get the feel of things, so that you can begin to get notches that look alike all the way along. So the articles that you saw before gave you some history and some background. And so give it a try. I like to use basswood. Pine works fine. Any soft wood. You could also use, if you don't have a lot of strength in your hands, you could use balsa wood, which you can get at the craft store. And you could use your regular knife, or you could even use a simple razor blade, the kind that they use for scraping paint off windows, a little metal holder, and again you can use a holding stick. For demonstration, I can do this. If you use a razor blade, you have to be very careful, because this cuts real easy. And but you work exactly the same way, and you can cut little notches. If you use your regular cut knife, you can do the same thing. It doesn't take very much. But if you have a lot of trouble with arthritis, or if your hands are weak, use balsa wood. Now that's quite fragile. It breaks easily. So to protect it, after you're done, after you glue all the pieces together, and maybe after you glue them on the box or the cover or whatever it is, and you stain the wood, then put on 2 or 3 coats of shellac. Get the shellac and some alcohol, of course, for cleanup, and cut the shellac about 50-50 with alcohol, and soak the wood. It will soak in, and it will strengthen that balsa wood, make it quite stiff and hard so it doesn't break at all, and you can do the same kind of work as you do with regular wood. So welcome to the wonderful world of carving, and have fun.